What's up, guys? Today we got a Corvette Z06. So it's a 2008 Corvette Z06 C6 body, 505 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. Do a little walk around. So one thing about Corvettes is that the rear tires are extremely wide from the factory. We got 325s on the back, which is a very large tire. You can see right there how wide those tires actually are. Let's check out the interior. Okay, so as far as interior goes, pretty classic Corvette. Very similar to even the newer Corvettes as far as the seat design. You got leather seats. And as you can see, everything is kind of angled towards the driver. So that right there tells you that's a very driver-focused car. A more track-oriented vehicle. The interior is not bad. Especially for a 2008. Interior is pretty decent. You can see the Corvettes, they have the button. They don't have the typical door handle on the inside. We have a button that opens the door. Check out the trunk space. Very good amount of trunk space for a sports car. A lot of trunk space. Go to the other side. Got a Corvette right there inside the door. So these C6 Corvettes specifically, I'm not sure about the newer Corvettes. They sit extremely low. Extremely low. Like, this is probably one of the lowest cars I've ever sat in. But it gives you more of that race feel when you get in it. As soon as you get in it, you just feel like you're going to go fast, even if you're not going fast. So I think it definitely ties in for the overall design of the car. I mean, being that the car is a pretty much a race-inspired car, it really makes sense that you're sitting real low inside the car and have fat tires on the back. So now let's go ahead and go for a drive. Half throttle, maybe?
Maybe. I think per shift was around 4,000.
Yeah, so nowhere near full throttle, and it pulled pretty well. Yeah, so the C6 does sit extremely low. As I mentioned earlier, when I first went to sit in this car, I never thought I was going to reach the seat. That's how low it was. It felt like I was almost going to fall down.
The Z06 is actually a little bit lower than the regular C6 is also. Yeah. One of the things I dislike is that the front of the car has got a rubber lip on it for managing the airflow, and it's low enough that I can generally will scrape it when coming out of driveways and things like that. And being in a small town that's used to pickups, I have to avoid some streets altogether, so it does have its challenges.
Yeah, there's definitely some parts of this area that are not designed for any type of low cars whatsoever. So how's the reliability been for you with this vehicle?
I've actually had real good luck with it. I've had a couple of issues, but nothing really major. And that's a surprising thing about Corvettes is they really hold up pretty well. On the two C5s I had, I would get on the highway, leave it in 6th gear and go 70, 75 miles an hour, and I'd get somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 miles per gallon.
Oh wow.
This one is not quite that good. Went on the tollway down to San Antonio the other day, and I averaged 25, and that's pretty much the best I've gotten. Of course, I was doing 85 all the time too, or higher, so
That's still not that bad, honestly.
yeah.
Especially compared to a lot of the newer sports cars. You're lucky to get 20 highway.
Yeah, I think that they've geared this thing high enough in the top 2 gears that really helps you get a decent mile per gallon out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I would have never thought, honestly, that this car would get even relatively decent fuel mileage.
I think the driving around town and highway mix, the worst I've got in this one is 18.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
Of course, that's not doing a whole lot of hot rodding either, so it's
what's the gearing like? What towards the end of 2nd gear, about how fast are you going by that time? Does it hit 60 in 2nd gear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it may hit 60 at first. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the thing I like about it. It really doesn't matter what gear it's in. It pulls hard all the time. A lot of time I'll hit the freeway in 4th gear and gas it. Up in a hurry.
So what gear are you in right now?
6th.
So he's in 6th gear and he's under 2,000 RPM. He's at about 1,500, just over 1,500 RPM.
When I'm doing 75 to 80, it's at 1,800. I mean, it's
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you never turn unless you're really, really after it. You don't turn high RPMs.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I honestly thought you would be over 2,000 RPM, crazy.
There's 80 and I'm turning 1,800.
80 miles an hour and still under 2,000 RPM. That is crazy.
Probably another disadvantage to Corvettes particularly bright yellow ones like this, as they attract cops like crazy.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, it does.
And so in my opinion, I think yellow is the classic Corvette color. It doesn't work on all cars, but on the Corvettes, I think it's a really good color for the car. I think it just makes the car pop overall, and it really makes it look like that much more of a sports car. Now the new Camaros, for example, those in yellow, I think they look horrible. They just can't pull the color off. But something about a yellow Corvette just looks stunning.
Yeah, I didn't, when they came out with yellow on the C5s, I wasn't very happy about it. It looked more like a school bus yellow. It was kind of dull.
Oh, really?
When they came out with the yellow on the C6s, I fell in love with that color and figured someday I was going to get one, so this was it.
I love bright colors.
I figure if anybody ever runs into me, I'll ask them, what about that bright yellow car didn't you see?
If they're in a truck, they might say that it's too low to the ground, they couldn't see you.
Well, I have had a dump truck try to run over me one time, and that would probably be his excuse.
So as far as the overall length of the car, it's not small by any means. I mean, it's not huge. It's definitely not the size of a luxury sedan or anything like that. But it's also not a real small length. I'd say it's average size. I'd say it's probably pretty close to the size of the Camaros, new Camaros and all that stuff. But
It's definitely not like a Porsche that's much smaller. The Corvettes have always had the long front end and chopped off rear end. It's surprising sometimes when you get in the parking place and you think you're stuck out too far to the back. The short rear end doesn't stick out anywhere. It's tucked in. So you have to, with that low front end, you have to learn not to drive up all the way up to the curb because it ruins the rubber airflow thing. So I know a lot of people when they first get a Corvette, whether it's C5 or C6, they've got to go back and get that replaced at least once or twice before they get used to where it is.
so to anyone out there that's thinking about getting a Corvette, or really any type of high-performance sports car, if there's any type of dip, don't take it straight up, go at an angle, because you will scrape.
Yep.
Even in the BMW 135i that I had, there were times where I scraped on it, and it's not a good feeling when you scrape your car because it doesn't sound good.
I've never had one that didn't scratch going into second gear. I don't know exactly what the problem is.
So as far as ride quality, whenever you're on the highway, it's not bad. It's really smooth. But as far as being that it's a sports car and it's going to be a more track-focused type car, the suspension is going to be a lot stiffer than your normal vehicle. So when you hit bumps, you're going to feel it, definitely. And it's going to be nowhere near as soft as any type of normal car or sedan or any type of luxury type car, anything like that. So your sports cars are going to ride a little bit rougher. On the highways, they're going to ride really smooth. So we're on a decent road right now. The speed limit's like 60 or 65, and the car rides fine, you know. So when you hit bumps, gonna feel them. I think that also has a little bit to do with the tires as well, because they are low profile tires, so that's a lot less rubber to absorb bumps. So I mean, as far as the suspension plus the tires, that's gonna cause you a little bit rougher ride. But if you're buying a sports car, you're probably not very worried about the ride, and you really shouldn't be, at least if you're looking for a sports car, because the worse that the vehicle rides, that's going to be the more performance oriented the vehicle is. It's going to mean the stiffer the suspension, which also means the better the car is going to handle. So we have hit a few little curves, and it feels solid. It feels really solid. It feels like a piece of cake.
I think the suspension engineers are doing a much better job in these late model cars with managing both the firmness and the handling with the ride quality, so it's surprisingly comfortable to drive.
So the only thing negative that I can really say about when you're hitting a curve is the seats need a little bit more bolstering. That's the only thing. It's kind of throwing me around a little bit, which is good because it's showing you how well the car is handling. But if the bolstering was a little bit more aggressive, it would hold you in place a little bit better, and then it would be an extremely solid car, extremely solid.
There are a lot of aftermarket seat makers that can fix that for you if it isn't enough for you. I guess my preference is not to have them too much, because I'm not going to race the car, and they're much easier to get in and out of, and you can get more comfortable in them with a little bit of lag in the bolster. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, it's really a trade-off between what you want and what you need.
But these seats are very comfortable. I have kind of a bad back. I've broken a lot of bones, so a lot of seats kind of discomfort my back. But I feel just fine in these seats. My back feels pretty comfortable, which is impressive, especially for a sports car, because a lot of sports cars, their seats are going to be stiffer than your average vehicle, and that basically is going to mean that they're going to be less comfortable. But that's not the case at all with this car. So there is a decent amount of road noise. But like Jerry was saying earlier, there's not a lot of insulation, and it's a track car, pretty much. So the goal of every track car is to save as much weight as possible, and that means that you're gonna have to sacrifice in areas like that. So there's no need really to put insulation or a lot of insulation in a sports car that's designed for the track, because you're trying to save the maximum amount of weight that you possibly can.
One thing about this car that I always find impressive is the braking.
I was just about to say that.
That you don't get a lot of front end dive even when you're hammering the brakes pretty good. So when I drive like my wife's car, it drives me crazy. It almost standing on its nose to get it stopped.
So for anyone that's really looking for a sports car that won't break the bank, you can find a Corvette, pre-owned Corvette in very good shape for really not that much money. And Corvettes hold their value pretty well. So that's another thing you won't have to worry about. You won't have to worry about losing a lot of money when you go and buy a pre-owned vet, because they hold their value extremely well.
Another thing about the vets buying a used one is is that a lot of Corvette owners don't drive their car very much. I don't understand that at all. But they're into saving it for some future date to race or something, and they don't ever do it. So they got a car with 20 or 30,000 miles. It's perfect condition. Just have to be on the lookout for what you want. And the C5s right now, C5s are great cars, and I would advise anyone to take a look at those because they are inexpensive at this point, and they're still great driving cars.
I've always loved the C6 Corvettes. Ever since they came out, every time I'd see one, I'd get excited because they're just a great looking car, and as far as performance goes, they're good. They are really good. Good amount of horsepower. Torque is pretty good as well. And then with the Corvettes, they are extremely light. Extremely light. I want to say the curb weight for this vehicle is around 31 to 3,200 pounds.
Sounds right.
And that is light. That's lighter than my BMW 135i that I had. So to have 500 horsepower, just over 500 horsepower, and almost 500 pound-feet of torque, and that light of a car, that's a winning combination. That's a good power to weight ratio. And another thing with this Z06, so 2008 Z06, any Z06 without forced induction, it's really not all that difficult to modify and to make bigger power if that's the route that you want it to go. You could always throw a supercharger or a pro charger on it and make 700 plus horsepower. And to have that much horsepower in a car this light, that'd be just stupid fast.
Having the high torque value really makes the car easy to drive also. If you go into a Porsche or some of the others that require you to really rev the engine up to get moving, this one has torque right from the very bottom end. You just press the accelerator wherever you are and it goes. So it just really makes it easy.
There you have it, guys. Anybody in the market for a C6 Z06 or a C6 Corvette in general, phenomenal car, and they're not all that expensive anymore. So I mean, you won't break the bank trying to buy one of these, and you're going to get an extreme amount of performance for not all that much money, and you're just going to get a damn good car in general. And there's no other way to put it. Good horsepower, extremely light. You can't beat it. You seriously can't beat it. So thank you to Jerry here for taking us for a ride, talk to us about his Corvette, and I'll see y'all on the next. So that wraps up today's video, guys. Awesome experience. The C6 Z06 is a sweet car. It is freaking sweet. It is way faster than I was expecting and handles extremely well. So if y'all like this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you have any friends that are interested in car content, direct them to my channel. See y'all later.